now.
Oh, there you are.
Oh, I feel my hand is moving.
Yeah, I think that's a good place, don't you?
Yeah, that should work well.
It's better down where his shirt is than it is up where his face is.
Yeah,
Huh?
Can you move the camera up a little bit?
sure. I can make him his face the whole screen. I have chopped off his head. There.
Go in and out, I suppose, but
Yeah.
that would be too much for the whole time.
Yeah. Get back to.
I got one hair sticking up.
One hair sticking out?
Yeah, you got some hair sticking up in the back, Daddy. You need to comb your hair.
That's all right. It's
Comb my hair.
Yeah, and the other side in the back. There you go. There you got it.
Got a,
Are you gonna set up now?
Yep, we're all ready to go.
Oh, shut up.
Oh,
what are we going to talk about?
well, let's see. How about that spinning wheel to start with? Who is
The spinning wheel?
Yeah, did you make that or?
I,
There you
that
go.
was that was broken.
Uh huh.
It was it belonged to my in-laws, the first wife, and they must have gotten disgusted and stepped on it and broke the wheel, and there was no spool.
Uh huh.
I had to
spool is
make.
the part at the end there. This is the spool, right? That right there.
Yeah, that's the spool.
Okay.
And I made that, and I had a machinist at the shop make the threads on it because it had to be left-hand thread. So I had them make that up, and then I fixed the wheel. And there were 5 spokes broken
Oh,
in
yeah,
the
I can-
wheel.
I can
And
barely tell.
I took the pattern from them and turned it on my. Well, maybe I had somebody turn it in the mill. But anyway, I got those sticks, and then I made the rim, outside rim of the wheel, and put it together afterwards.
I see.
So I had quite a job.
It looks pretty good now. I barely tell what's new and what isn't. I guess I can tell. A little
You
bit.
can tell those that are where it's a little dirty. It was natural wood, you know. There was no paint or varnish on it, so
Uh huh.
that was cleaner. What I fixed and made than what was on there before, because they had been spinning on it. They had been using it,
Uh huh.
but she wouldn't use it.
Do you remember when we went and got the wool at that one farm?
I got some wool. And
I was with Mike and I were with that thing.
Oh, were you?
Yeah. Yeah. That was.
Yeah, that was down south of Lindstrom.
Yeah, that's where it was.
Yeah.
You got a whole bag of it, and then you had to cart it, and
Yeah, I did, but I didn't do very much. But I made the spundle, the yarn of the wheel there. That's quite a trick to spin yarn, you know.
I can imagine how it would be.
Then they twine it, you know. They put 2 yarns together,
Uh-huh.
and then when I twined it, it got too big, too coarse, you know, so you couldn't have it.
Do you remember your mom using a spinning wheel, or?
My mother,
Yeah, did she use one?
she did real good.
Huh.
She spun the yarn and then knitted for, I guess she had brother-in-law and my dad and me and my brother,
Uh-huh.
all the socks.
Jeez.
But then after, my dad used to card the wool,
Uh-huh.
and then she would spin.
Uh-huh.
And then after that, she bought a knitting machine, and she.
Is that a loom or
Beg your pardon?
what's a knitting machine? Is that a loom or is that?
No, it's a one that takes the yarn and knits stockings and socks
Automatically?
out of the machine.
Huh, interesting. I didn't know they had
You didn't know they had that?
No,
Most of the socks are made by machines like that, you know.
Huh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Did it work on electricity, or how did it work?
Well, we had no electricity. She had a.
Oh, it's like an egg beater, I suppose.
Then she had a weight under it to tighten the socks and whatever she knit.
Huh.
And she tried to knit mittens, but they had to be too big, you know.
Uh-huh.
So she didn't do very much of that afterwards.
That's pretty neat. It's back on again. It went out for a second. Dumb thing. I've got a thing in there that changes it, and it doesn't work quite right sometimes. But see yourself? Kind of.
Yeah, I see myself.
Huh. Remember once you told me that you lived in a sod hut?
Beg your pardon?
You lived in a sod hut?
Sod hut?
Uh-huh.
Oh, did I tell you my grandfather built a sod hut? I've got a write-up in there that you can read.
All right.
And it's a long story, though. You can't read it in just a little while.
Uh-huh. I'd still be interested.
But I'd like to have that typed.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I imagine it's too big a job, though.
Well, I've got a computer. I could type it on there, and it types it out, automatically. What have you.
I'll show it to you. I got it in the bedroom.
Okay. What was your first car? Do you remember what your first car was?
The first car?
Uh-huh.
The Model T Ford.
Uh-huh.
In 1917, my dad bought. And then they were going to teach him to drive. And they drove around. And I was sitting in the back seat watching everything. You know.
How old were you then? You must have been, what, 19?
16, I was 18.
18.
And see, I'm 2 years before the century.
It's easy for me to remember that because I'm, you're 60 years older than I am.
60?
60 years older, yep.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'm 27, you're 87, right?
87, I'll be 88 next, for the 4th of September.
Yeah, I'll be 28,
Let's see,
October 6th, 26th.
I was born 1898,
Jeez.
and that's just before the century change.
Yeah, gosh, that's you're gonna be, I don't know, lots happened since then, hasn't it?
Since then, yeah, we hardly had any roads to drive through to Taylor's Falls then, you know.
Huh.
It's just ruts, a pair of ruts to drive in.
What'd you do in the wintertime?
Well, I didn't drive.
You stayed home in the
Well,
wintertime.
I walked. I was going to high school for a while.
Uh-huh.
That wasn't more than, I guess I went there 3 or 4 months. I
Huh.
walked from our farm to Lindstrom,
How far is that?
3.5 miles.
That's not too bad. That's
So, but then I went uptown and met some of the fellows from school out there,
uh-huh.
and then we walked to Lindstrom again
Oh goodness.
to show. So that's that was quite a time. Quite a time.
That was what, 1916, I suppose? Or 1915?
He bought the car in 1917.
Uh-huh.
It was a 1917 model, but he bought it in 1916.
I see.
Cost
How much was it, do you remember?
$350.
Jeez. Brand new car. Probably a lot of money though, of that.
He said, no, I remember when the guy that sold it to him told him that I I thought you were gonna pay up by monthly payments, he said.
Uh-huh.
But you got cash, so he knocked off from 375 to 350.
It's kind of, when you think of it that way, if it was...
Pretty, that was old Frank Lawrence, Mark.
She's somewhere else, I guess.
Oh, she. That was, you remember Beatrice Lawrence?
Uh-huh. Yep. Your cousin?
Yeah, it's my cousin. That was her uncle, too.
Oh. Huh. Well, that's interesting.
That was right around World War I, wasn't it?
Beg your pardon?
Is that when World War I was beginning?
Yeah, right after that. That was 1918 we got into World War One.
Suppose they didn't. How did that affect Minnesota or where you lived? Do you remember that at all? Or?
Yeah, I was too young, see, I didn't have to go until I got to be 18 or whatever it was. But then I was going to go to college, Gustavus Adolphus College, and enlist there.
Uh-huh.
And they wouldn't take me. They said, no, we're filled up, he said. But
Thank heavens.
that wasn't the idea. He knew the armistice was going to be signed that fall, see.
I see.
So I was, just before the armistice would have been signed, I would have gotten
You had gone over there? Or you had gone into the army, I suppose. Did you have any shortages because of the war? I suppose you guys produced everything on your farm, so it didn't really affect you that much, did it?
Oh, I had a brother that would help on the farm, so I think I would have had to go, really.
Uh-huh.
But see, I was just a little too late.
Well,
So what?
I'm glad you were late. I probably wouldn't be here had you gone. Who knows what things could have changed.
It's probably different. Yeah, that's...
Was Uncle Wallace? How old was he now? I remember.
How old he was?
Yeah,
He was 6 years younger than me.
6 years younger. I see. Jeez.
Let's
So he would have
see,
been.
Yeah, Dillard was 3 and Wallace was 3 more.
Yeah, he's I think one of your only brothers, or how many brothers and sisters did you have?
I had 2 brothers and 2 sisters,
I see.
so we were 5 children. That was a little baby that was 3 months old when he died.
Oh, that's too bad. Was that the first? Where did he fit in? How old were you? The oldest child, or were you?
Oh, Art was older than me, and then the baby was the oldest. That would have been 2 years older than Art.
Uh-huh. But he died?
What was his name?
Whose name?
The baby that died.
What was the baby's name who died?
Earl
Earl?
Earl Russell.
That's what you got
And
today.
my dad had a friend when he was up in the logging camp that he was really fond of,
Uh-huh.
and his name was Earl.
Your dad worked in a logging camp?
Oh yeah, he was up there for 9 years, 9 winters.
I didn't know that. Gee.
My dad, yeah.
In Taylor's Falls, or where?
No, it was up by Hinckley, Sandstone and Hinckley.
Oh, that's way up there, isn't it?
It's quite a ways.
How do you get up there? Do you ride a horse, or
Oh no,
by the train?
he rode the train up there. I don't remember if he ever said that he rode the freight trains or what, but one time he took a bunch of horses and oxen
Uh-huh.
from Taylor's Falls up to the logging camp.
Uh-huh.
And he was the main stay of the oxen and the horses. And the reason he showed me that, he said they said to him, if anybody comes and tries to get in, just bang him, he said.
Yeah.
And that was the conductor that came in. And he had a mark on his back of his hand that showed all that time.
Huh.
But he wasn't, I think he was 26 years old when he quit the logging camp.
So he's a little younger than I was. I bet that was hard work. Can you imagine?
Oh, well, yeah, they had just, at first they just had to cut the brush so that the sleds could get through to the river.
Uh-huh.
Then they floated the logs on the river down to St. Croix.
In the winter time?
Yeah.
When
Well, no, after the river thawed out, you know.
I see. Uh-huh.
But they took it down so that they were camped on a side hill, and then they slid the logs down onto the water, and then they had a horse down on the river
Uh-huh.
that dragged the logs out in order
Jeez.
to there. But then he drove oxen afterwards. He said he had an argument with a driver that was driving horses,
Uh-huh.
and he said, "Oh, you're just an ox teamster. You're no good." And the guy says, "Do you want to bet? You want to bet if I take have a campaign with you?"
Uh-huh.
And he says, "Yeah. What do you want to bet?" "Oh," Dad says, "is keg of beer." That was only 60 cents at that time.
Jeez.
"Well, that'll be the easiest keg of beer I have ever won," he says.
Uh-huh.
And then they had that contest, you know.
Uh-huh.
And he knew that the oxen are under, they drive by command, you know. He just had to say gee and haw,
Uh-huh.
get up and hoe, and that's the oxen would go. And then he got the next log ready to
Uh-huh.
hook on, and then they went up to the log.
So you just had to tell him what to do then?
Yeah, but the other guy had to drive with lines, you know.
So you had to go all the way up there with them?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I see. Huh.
So he gave up at noon, my dad said.
And so your
Because-
dad won?
He says, I can see now that you beat me.
So you got the keg of beer?
They ought got the keg of beer, but they divided that. With,
They drank it anyways. Huh.
yeah. So,
Just it was an excuse to have a keg of beer, I'll bet.
well, I remember he told about that. And, well, then I drove that Model T, but then afterwards, Carlton Anderson and I, my brother, my neighbor, and I went downtown to work for carpenters, you know, construction.
You built barns?
No, we built barns up there, yeah, but
Uh-huh.
we had construction work that was, so there's on University Avenue, there was oh, I can't think of it now.
A house or?
No, a factory,
Uh-huh.
and I worked on that factory.
Oh.
It was a casket factory.
You made it? You built?
Oh, well, I just helped.
I see. Is it still there?
Beg pardon?
Is the building still there?
Yeah, it's still down on University Avenue.
Huh.
Just a little bit this side of Lexington.
Okay.
It's kind of a tower building.
I think I know which one that one is. I'll have to look at that next time I drive by. I didn't
Yeah.
know you worked here in the cities. I thought you worked out in the country and things.
I worked here in the cities too.
Oh.
I worked in Minneapolis for a while first, and then I worked on houses too, around everywhere. Then afterwards, my brother told me, why don't you ask this contractor? He'll give you a job.
Uh-huh.
And so I hired out with him. He was paying me for the young fellows, you know.
Uh-huh.
Till finally I got to lay out rafters and stairways for him. And he said, you know how to do that? And I said, sure, I learned that.
Uh-huh.
Because I had been studying with I got the Encyclopedia of Construction, and I almost went through the whole thing, you know, but
Uh-huh.
I was studying how to lay out rafters and that, and the steel square, and I found out that the steel square is the most important implement or tool that's used on any construction.
Huh. Interesting. The steel, just to get everything square, right?
Yeah, it's got rules and regulations on it
Huh.
that tells you what figures to use on a square.
I see. That's interesting. See, when did you meet Grandma?
Why did I what?
Meet Grandma? You're with Vanette?
Oh, when did I get her?
When did you meet her?
I was, a fellow had a girlfriend in Glacier National Park,
Oh, really? Uh-huh.
and then we were supposed to meet them at the Great Northern Depot. That was in Minneapolis then.
Uh-huh.
And so he asked me if I would drive down and try to get her,
Uh-huh.
get them. We come down there, she had written, or she had called, I guess, to some other fellows that they came and picked her up,
Uh-huh.
her girlfriend. Then when we got to, was in the depot there, I says, you'll ride with us, won't you? May I? She said. And so then we drove, and the other guy, his girlfriend, she went with the other guys.
Uh-huh.
And so then he says, well, you drive, well, he was driving a little ways till we got out of town, you know. He didn't know the way very well, so
Uh-huh.
then when he started driving, then he says, you go in the back seat and get acquainted. He said, and then after that, I asked her who was the girlfriend. I had a girlfriend that went to Glacier Park from Minneapolis, and she says, who was it? Oh, I told her. I don't remember her name now, but she says, that's the girlfriend that took my boyfriend away from me and married him.
Oh, jeez.
And then we came home, you know, and after that I started to keep company with her.
I see. So she worked out in the summertime in Glacier National Park?
She was teaching. She was a teacher in the summertime.
In Glacier?
Beg your pardon?
Where did she teach?
Down out in the country, down at the lake, by Stillwater there, or between.
Lake Elmo?
No, not Lake Elmo, but
Marine.
Big Marine.
Big Marine.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
She taught that at that school.
Huh.
So we were keeping company for 8 years before I married her
When was that? When did you marry her?
in 1938.
Oh, I see. Gosh, it was right in the tail end of the Depression.
Beg your pardon?
It was right in the end of the Depression, wasn't it? The Great Depression?
Depression?
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was, they didn't get very much wages then for teaching. Boy, they didn't even get $100 a month.
Jeez. She's lucky she had a job, probably.
Yeah.
When did you move here to this house? How long ago was
Why
that?
did I move here?
Uh-huh.
I started building this house in 1951.
Oh, nice.
50.
Uh-huh. So it's,
No, 51. 1951.
you built it all yourself?
Oh, most of it, but I had to have help for raising up, you know.
Uh-huh. Oh,
and
yeah.
that.
Did you do that masonry right there?
No, I didn't do that. That was a fellow by the name of Abrahamson
Uh-huh.
that built that fireplace, and then they built the outside
Planters and
flower planter boxes.
that's very attractive.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Should we stop for a while? Do you wanna
Oh,
do you wanna continue or?
Why
well,
don't you ask him about his school, when he started school and before he went to school, he only talked Swedish back then.
Oh, really? Huh. You went to a school that only talked Swedish?
No, he only spoke Swedish at home
Uh-huh.
before he went to school.
I see. So, she was saying that you only spoke Swedish at home.
oh yeah, we spoke Swedish.
But
I was-
when you were little, did you know English when you started school?
Not very much. I didn't. A little bit, but just very little. When I started school, I was 6 years old then, you know. And
Uh-huh.
in 1904, my brother was with me. My older brother was with me,
Uh-huh.
and when we came into the schoolhouse, country school, you know,
Uh-huh.
she was tolling the bell for, you know, it was time for that. And, oh, what a nice little boy! She said. I remember that. So.
Uh-huh. You say it in Swedish?
No, she said it in English.
Uh-huh.
Then she says, oh, then I took the left hand, you know, and started writing. Don't take that pencil in that hand, she says. Put it in a nice hand. And I always wrote right-handed after.
Jeez, huh. That's interesting. Otherwise, mother's left-handed, so it must
Yeah,
have.
it's
So was
weird.
Grandma
See,
Abrahamson.
I asked the doctor once why people get to be left-handed.
Uh-huh.
And he says there's a nerve crossed in back of your neck that becomes left-handed or right-handed.
Huh. And it's just whatever one you develop, I suppose?
Well, no, I was kind of ambidextrous, so otherwise,
I see.
because
So is mine.
I shot left-handed all the time.
Huh.
But then I had a bad eye, and I shot right-handed all the time when I was up in Canada
Huh. What were you doing up in Canada? Hunting?
hunting ducks.
I see.
We that time we shot 66
Jeez.
ducks. We could have 75. we got 66.
Jeez. How long did it take you to get 66?
Oh, we shot about 40 in about 2 days.
Jeez.
And, then we had some before and got some afterwards.
What year was that?
That was the year you were born.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah.
1958.
In 19 what?
58.
58. Yeah, that's what it was. We got laid off from the railroad shop then,
Uh-huh.
and just fit in just right.
So you made it into a vacation.
Yeah.
That's
And
neat.
we got paid for the time off too.
Jeez. So you got paid to go and do that.
Yeah. That was pretty good.
I was up last weekend. I was up right by Canada, and I was trying to fish. I caught 2 little fish about that big. That's all I caught.
Oh, you were up trying to fish?
Yeah. A couple of friends and I drove up to the Boundary Waters. It's a
Oh,
reserve.
Boundary Waters.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
yeah.
we were. It was maybe 20 miles south of Canada,
Oh,
and we
yeah.
rented a canoe and were paddling around all day long. And
Yeah.
I tried fishing, but
Oh,
Just got these little
I
dump.
haven't gone. Oh, we went up to Nisswa quite a few times. Up on that's up by just the other side of what's that?
Ely? Ely, Minnesota?
Not to Ely. It isn't that far. It's just beyond Brainerd, 20
Oh, yeah.
miles beyond Brainerd.
That way, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But the way we were, my dad and mother used to like to go there, and so we took off and drove up there. That was pretty good fishing.
Huh. What'd you catch? Just,
We got panfish. That was mostly sunfish, but they were nice.
big ones?
Yeah. They're, well, we didn't get any extra large, but
Big enough to keep.
yeah, up to pound and a half,
Wow.
something like that.
I'd be happy with that.
Pardon?
I would be happy with that.
Yeah, sure, yeah. We went several times, and first time we had trouble keeping them, you know. We didn't have anything to. Yeah, I guess we did have an old milk can.
Uh-huh.
We had water in it, so that we would get. Oh, we got good water there anyway, but it was something we had, that milk can. So then we packed the fish in the milk can, and then we packed ice in it.
I see.
So that
Kept
was
them
good.
fresh.
They were good. I know some of them were cleaning, and some of them we didn't.
Remember once Mike and I went fishing at Lily Lake in Stillwater, and there's another fellow with us, and we caught 400 fish.
400 fish.
400 fish. They were little baby ones, and I think what happened is we catch them, we throw them back, and we catch the same one again.
Oh, I
maybe.
suppose.
But there's another.
Was that sunfish?
They were perch and little things. Yeah.
Perch, oh yeah.
But after a while, we ran out of bait, and we just throw the hook in there, and they'd bite the hook.
They take the hook.
They'd bite the hook. Jeez.
Yeah, that's.
But they were just little ones. They were about like that or so.
Oh, yeah.
Not worth keeping. Do you remember when my mom was born?
Yeah, I remember that.
Is that so it was, you were born September 25th, right?
Yep,
1939?
yep.
So you'd just been married then, hadn't you? Just for a little while.
Yeah,
A
yeah.
year.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. You know, that's,
And I went down to Bethesda Hospital. That's where she was born.
uh-huh.
And then she was. I don't remember what time of the day she was born, but then I went back, and then Kenny had his birthday the same day.
Huh,
Kenneth Abramson.
I didn't know that.
And they were having a birthday party
Huh.
in this place of business.
Up in Lindstrom?
Yeah. So I went in there and told them,
Uh-huh.
"Oh, I bet you're gonna get the pheasants this year."
Yeah. Huh. I remember going to Kenny's bar up there. He had that bowling machine. Remember Mike and I used to go in there and bowl?
Oh,
You'd throw this pin down and it would look like it was bowling.
yeah.
I remember that.
Oh, he had that, but now there's a restaurant there.
It's a restaurant. Oh, huh.
Yeah. The Swedish Inn, they call it.
That's appropriate.
Yeah.
Now, which your grandparents or your parents were Swedish predominantly? Or?
They were both my parents and grandparents were Swedish.
I see.
He came to Minnesota. He came up the St. Croix River to Franconia.
Uh-huh.
You've been
Sure.
near there.
Yeah.
And then they had what they call a pest house, where they kept the children or the immigrants till they found out if they were healthy or not.
In Franconia?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
and
Jeez.
that was years ago, you know. Then he must have followed the Lawrence Creek
Uh-huh.
up toward and through Schaefer,
Uh-huh.
and then he went past Schaefer up to the home farm and followed a creek there. But the one from Schaefer goes toward the river that way. But the other one goes toward the Chisaga Lakes. So that's where the water separates and goes the other way. One goes west and one goes east. And he must have followed that creek. That's my assumption. I don't know for sure, but then he got to where there was a birch tree by the creek, and that's where the sod hut was built.
Really? Jeez.
Then if you came home after dark, you could always see the birch tree.
Did you do that on purpose?
Oh, I think he did it for a good mark.
I see. Yeah,
For a
sure.
good.
Now, was that where your farm used to be? The one that
Yeah,
Wallace used to live on?
It's just this side of that is the farm. The sod hut was built on the neighbors, just a little beyond the neighbor's farm.
Aye.
But they bought all that land from a fellow from Little Lake. Peter Svensson by Little Lake.
And then that was, what year was that when you're? That was
1853.
and that was your grandfather, right?
Yeah, that's my grandfather here.
1853. I
That
think.
is. Well, you can read about it in that.
Oh,
but
it's all written down there.
Huh?
It's written down there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's.
That his first wife was with baby, pregnant, and she gave birth to a baby on the ocean, and she died on the ocean.
Oh, jeez, God.
So you see, he had quite a job.
The baby lived.
Huh?
The baby lived.
The baby lived, yeah. The baby lived.
Gee.
But then afterwards, the church was organized right the year after 1853, and so some of the people at church told him it would be best if he adopted it out. So we never found out where it went to. But then after that, he had a maid, and she worked for him to take care of the children and that, and so he married her afterwards, and he had 13 more children.
Jeez. Wow.
And then he had one son that was 12 years old, and he was deaf and dumb.
Oh, jeez.
So he had a job on his head.
I can imagine.
Then he
that.
had another daughter, and she lived in Lindstrom till she died.
Now, those were all your aunts and uncles? Those 13 children?
Yeah, that's six aunts and 7 uncles
I see. Which one was it? Was that your mom's side or your dad's side?
on my dad's side.
I see. And your dad was, what number was your dad?
Oh, he was 5th or 6th or something like that.
I see. Do you remember your grandfather?
No, I don't remember him. I remember my grandfather on my mother's side. I remember him. And my grandmother on my mother's side.
Did they immigrated from Sweden too, I take it?
Yeah, but they came to Wisconsin someplace, and then they settled in Schaefer after.
That's interesting. Gosh, just think that.
Well, that's all on the right up there.
I didn't even know that existed. Yeah, we should type that up and make copies of it. I've got a computer where I can type it into the computer, and then the computer will type itself automatically, type out as many copies as.
Yeah, but this is it's written by pencil, or it'd have to be typed, I suppose.
Yeah, and you type it into the computer, but once you do that once,
Oh,
then you can do it as many times as you want to.
oh yeah, you could make copies of it.
Yeah,
So I'd like to have the copies back again.
the originals. Yeah, who wrote the originals?
Huh?
Who wrote it?
I wrote it.
I see.
Can I go and
Sure.
get them?
Sure, let me get this out of your way. I'll turn this off for the time being.
What is this now you wanted me to talk about?
About your work and walking over to work
Oh,
every day.
about my work. Yeah, I retired in 65.
Gosh, I can remember before 65. That's interesting.
And
28, so I would have been 7 then. I guess that's.
oh yeah, yeah. Grandma was not very good when that is your grandma. So the boss, the superintendent came into me. I was all alone in the shop there, and he watched out so that I wouldn't be all alone. And he says, "Gee, Earl, I'm gonna miss you. I'm gonna miss you when you're gone." He says, "Well," I says, "I can't help it because I'm old enough to retire and I have to take care of my wife." I said, she was in pretty bad shape.
I remember they gave you a watch and some fishing tackle.
What?
They gave you some fishing tackle and things, didn't they? When you retired?
They gave me some fishing tackle. Yeah. Did you know that? Did you see that?
I remember that. Yeah, I remember you
I
brought it
still
down.
got it in the box downstairs. But oh, I can't think now. But yeah, and then he says, "Well, it was nice to have you as one of my that you worked for me."
Jeez.
That was the superintendent of the shop.
Gosh.
And then the other guys, they were gone. They're someplace, but he watched out so that they were all gone when he came in. And then I got a plaque afterwards, and it was in a frame that I had been a very good employee.
How long did you work there for?
28 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And now you've been retired for 20. You get more now when you retire than you did then? Remember you said that once?
I do more.
No, you get more money now.
Oh, I get. I never got this much money. $600. Well, she's getting 100, and I got 600, instead of 700. Then regular retirement. No, Social
Security?
Medicare.
Medicare.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? Gosh.
Yeah, I worked at one time. I worked for 35 cents an hour.
Jeez. When was that?
That was in 1930. Let's see. It was 1934, 35, something like that.
During the Depression.
At Dresser Junction. That was. For rock crusher.
You worked at the rock crusher?
I worked at the rock
It
crusher.
was
Yeah.
pretty hard work then, I suppose, too.
Oh, they didn't crowd you too much, but then I got hurt in the left eye, and I couldn't hardly see at all with that. So then I went home and I had a pair of goggles
Lynn stops in, will that come in there?
It doesn't matter.
for when I rode a motorcycle, you know. And
You rode a motorcycle?
no, I rode with somebody that was a good friend of mine.
I see.
And
Hi.
so I got a pair of goggles for that. But then
Hi.
goodbye now.
He
So
says,
I took the glass out of the goggles and put screen on it.
Huh.
See, then it wouldn't break the glass,
Uh-huh.
and I could see all right because my eyes were good, but that wouldn't affect my eyes. So I wouldn't hit. I wouldn't get hurt because that was just stones that would
Fly
hit
all over.
hit the goggles, you know.
Uh-huh.
And then afterwards, when I had another job the next year, then the superintendent of the rock crusher plant came and he says, "How about giving us your screen goggles?" He said.
Uh-huh.
They were pretty good. He says, "No, I won't give them away, but I'd let anybody who wants to copy that can take it because I couldn't have made a patent on it
Uh-huh.
and sold any." So then I had found out afterwards that they had ordered a dozen from some city, from Minneapolis to make them like that.
Really? Uh-huh. Geez, you should have patented it.
That's an idea.
Yeah. I wonder.
And then I had a job afterwards when they were running it to oil
Uh-huh.
to keep greasing the conveyors and that stuff.
Uh-huh.
So then there was a crusher that always got jammed. It always got jammed full of crushed rock, and it never would go down. So I went in there, and there was a good place to stand, and I had a long raker, like a hook like that,
Uh-huh.
and when any rocks jammed, I hooked them with the raker and tipped them over and it went right down. And then I heard the guys up above that dumped the crushed rock, you know, they dumped it into the jaws, they call it,
Uh-huh.
and then it went through the jaws, it went down into number 9, what they call the number 9.
Uh-huh.
And the guy hollered, "That one right down," he says.
Huh.
And then they dumped another load, and the guy says, "That one died right down too. Oh, there's a man down there."
They couldn't figure out why it wasn't jamming.
So that's how I worked in dresser.
What'd they do with the rocks?
They crushed the rock and put it into concrete.
I see.
And also on the streets and that. And then they had 2 hoppers up above where the conveyors took it up to the hoppers and dumped it into the hoppers.
Uh-huh.
And I supervised those 2 hoppers when they were being built.
Gee, that's interesting. Did you make them out of wood or?
No, they're made out of steel. Towers, like the windmill towers.
Are they still there? Or?
Oh, I suppose they are because they had a load of crushed rock that jumped the tracks from the sewer line,
Uh-huh.
and something went wrong anyway. And that was from those hoppers.
Jeez. Huh.
I'm pretty sure they're there yet because they were sturdy.
That's interesting. Gotcha. You should write down all the things you made and see how many of them are still there.
Beg your pardon?
I should get you to write down all the things that you helped build and go out and see if they're still there. And
I haven't made up any of that.
Interesting.
It's too much.
Yeah. Probably can't remember it all.
No, I just
Yeah, well, we're gonna
take
go.
off now.
Okay.
Okay,
Uh,
bye-bye.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah, have a good time.
yeah, did I think we got going first out there? No?
Oh dear.
I should take a picture of your trunk there. That's your grandfather brought that from Sweden. Is that? Or
That's right.
I should take the video camera and take a picture of that.
Yeah, and I'll show you something else that he had.
Okay.
Me here anyway, so
I see how this thing works. All these little things are offset, so you put it in there and you carved it out.
yeah.
Oh. So you started the hole, a smaller hole, and then you just
Yeah,
ground this around and.
That makes it the tread. That makes place for the tread, you know.
And now you use this for vices and things?
Huh?
You use this for vices?
For vices, you know, to draw a clamp, make a clamp on the vice.
Huh.
I have two of them out of iron down the basement in the bench.
So how old is this one?
Oh, that came from Sweden.
Did it? So probably it's 150 years old then, I suppose.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, 1953, but it was long before that.
It could be 200 years old for all we know. Still looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Somebody forged it looks like.
Oh no, I filed it. I fixed it.
Uh-huh. But it was
But,
drop forged at one time,
but,
I'll bet.
But it was rusty. That's all. I filed the rust off so I could, because it wouldn't be sharp then.
Be interesting to see what kind of steel it is. High carbon steel, or it's heavy
I
enough.
think it's not, but just a regular iron or steel. They were the blacksmiths, you know. They were quite.
Pretty good, I suppose.
Oh yeah, that's a.
Just think he had to carry this heavy thing all the way from Sweden to here.
Well, I don't know if probably he borrowed it from some neighbor.
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure about that.
Well, I could, you know.
But,
I suppose where is he going to find something like that out in the woods of Minnesota? 130 years ago.
yeah.
What's this in for?
Well, that's to take a wrench and turn it. You know.
I see, sure.
It's so heavy to turn either. I don't know if it'd be either a monkey wrench or it'd be heavier than that that would be used to turn it with.
Uh-huh. Maybe they had a tool for that, who
And
knows?
then they'd probably turn it back and forth until it could go through, you know.
Uh-huh.
And they'd always have a heavier piece of lumber than that. Not that one, but that one.
Uh-huh.
But I just made that so that I found out that I could do it.
Let's see if it still worked. I suppose they had a great big piece of oak or something, some really hard wood.
Oh yeah, this is fir, and they would have oak. Yeah.
Boy, it's hard to think of having to. You take all that stuff so much for granted now. You don't really have to think about doing that.
Well, I remember when the first car went by the home, by the farm.
Uh-huh.
The first automobile that went by the farm. And I remember one that was an electric
Huh.
car that went down to Taylor's Falls. And I was wondering how the heck they could get that and up the hill. But I suppose they had a pair of horses to drag it up the hill. That was steep. That wasn't like the road is, the highway is now. It was straight up the hill there.
Jeez. Now, when you say electric car, did they have wires going over it like a trolley car?
The
electric car, did it have wires?
No,
Had battery?
it had batteries. It's supposed to
Jeez.
have batteries.
Too bad they didn't go that way instead of going gasoline. There wouldn't be any pollution and things. I suppose they were trying out both then.
It got to be too expensive, you know, to charge a battery.
Oh, yeah. It'd be inconvenient too. Your battery goes dead.
Yeah.
And what are you going to do?
Then I suppose they'd have to charge the batteries every night, you know.
Yeah, that would cause pollution too, I suppose. They have to use an engine to do that.
Yeah. Are you reading it, Marilyn?
No,
Huh?
No, I'm working on something else.
Oh, I see.
I'm going to read it. It'll be interesting. It'll be, I don't know.
You know, that's quite a difference. I remember when I was working in Scandia on a church parsonage, and when Charles Lindbergh flew over the ocean, I remember that.
Remember when that happened?
Yeah, I remember when it happened.
Jeez. What did you think?
Think what?
What did you think about that?
I thought it was worse afterwards when I read about it, because he had fallen asleep, you know,
Oh,
and
jeez.
then he woke up and he finally come into Paris where he landed.
France.
How the heck he could be guided to land right
Uh-huh.
in a single engine plane?
Oh, jeez. Just think if it would have, anything could have happened. You know, the spark plugs could have
He was
followed.
taking a chance.
I'll
That's
say
all.
he was.
Jeez.
It's kind of like the guys now going into the rocket ships, and
Yeah,
although
well, that's right.
they got blown up, but
That was 1927.
jeez. Huh. That was right, that was during Prohibition, wasn't it? Or was Prohibition during the 30s?
Yeah, that's during Prohibition, yeah.
Did that matter to anybody? Did people still drink, or?
Oh, yeah, they had bootleg, you know.
You can't see Grandpa
But,
on the screen.
There.
I can't see you.
Well, you want to operate it? There.
Now I can see both of you.
We're not saying anything, but you can see both of us.
Well, let's see. Tell about the sleigh in the winter that you
Oh, yeah.
used to have when you were young.
The what?
The horse-drawn sleigh
Horse-drawn sleighs? Oh,
before you got cars.
oh. Well, that was... My folks only had what they call a cutter. That was two passengers. I don't remember much about that, because I never went with sleighs, I don't think, to the creamery. But we had a group house that went to the creamery together. And I took the horses and drove out to Lindstrom to the creamery and back. And boy, it was cold in the wintertime.
I can imagine.
Yeah. Boy, that was terrible.
How long did it take you?
Oh, I never got back till noon.
So you froze the whole time, I suppose.
Well, then afterwards, my dad had an old dogskin fur coat, you know.
It was made out of dog skin?
Yeah, dogskin fur coat. And my gosh, after I got that on, I never froze.
Didn't want.
But you had a lot of good clothes underneath too.
I can imagine. Boy, that must. Were the winters? Do you think the winters were harder then or now? I suppose now, they're so. You don't have to get cold at all.
Well,
But did it?
I think they're off and on about the same.
It's
I think
interesting.
that we didn't have the conveniences then anyway, so like we have now.
I-
And
How did you heat your house? With wood?
yeah,
Did it stay warm, pretty much, or
oh, we had to have good clothes on too.
even inside?
Yeah,
I mean, it must have been really a problem if you had to go to the bathroom. Yeah, you have to go out into the outhouse, you'd freeze.
outhouse, yeah. Yeah.
I don't suppose you could take baths or anything like that either.
So when I got older, I went to the barber shop and took a shower.
Oh, huh. Yeah, I don't know, did you have a lot of books to read? Or,
Oh, quite a bit. I was more for arithmetic, so I had the state exams
uh-huh.
at all the schools, the country school districts, and I passed the state exams in arithmetic when I was in 6th grade,
Okay.
and that you were allowed to go till 8th grade for that, you know. Then we had to have grammar and history and then spelling, and that was extra. So we had to watch ourselves too.
Huh, but they made you pass tests to go on. See, if you didn't pass it, then you didn't get to go on to school?
Well, you had to go an extra year
Oh,
if you didn't pass.
oh, I see. So you flunked, in other words.
Yeah.
What kind of things did you raise on the farm, or what kind of farm did you have over the years?
We had some corn and grain and potatoes. Potatoes was a pretty good crop, you know.
You sell them for money?
Yeah,
Did you have to pick them yourself?
yeah, we had to pick them ourselves. And we dug them by hand for a while, but then my dad bought a potato digger, and so we dug up a few, enough for a load, you know, and then took that to town and sold it, and then come back the next day and dug up another load.
Jeez, it's been a lot of work.
Oh yeah, it bent over, you know. It almost broke your back.
Imagine. Did you have cows and pigs?
Yeah, we had. Oh, I think my dad said they had 8 or 10 cows, but that's all.
Dairy cows?
Yeah, that they got milk from.
Did you have to milk them by hand? Obviously.
Yeah, milk from my hand.
Was that your job, or?
Yeah, we all helped milking. And my dad fed cattle. He didn't trust us to feed them. But then we had some chickens. And then my dad he liked to have the cows, you know, so he got as much out of the cows. Then I built a chicken shed for my mother, and she started getting so many chickens, you know, that she got more from the chickens than from the cows.
Oh, jeez. Did you have a dog?
Oh yeah, we always had a dog.
And cats?
Yeah, cats were in the barn.
They kind of took care of themselves, I suppose.
Oh yeah, well they got
Cat mice.
milk little bit of milk when they milk the cows, you know. And then they'd keep the mice out of the barn.
How many acres did you have?
We had 100 acres.
Not that
So
many.
60 acres at home and 40 acres down by Schaefer Township. But now then after we built the barn, he bought another 40 west of the other farm. So then after Wallace got it, he sold that 40 down by the Schaefer Township.
And Wallace farmed it then?
Yeah, he was farming it.
It was a dairy farm then?
Yeah, it was a dairy farm, but then he got so he couldn't handle it anymore.
Uh-huh.
Got, well, but it was his stomach was bad, you know.
Oh, ulcers?
Yeah, ulcers, yeah.
Who owns the farm now?
I don't know who they are. It was sold to a neighbor of ours when my sister-in-law had it. But I don't really know who it is now.
Huh.
So,
Well, this is great. It's good. I'm glad that we did this.
uh-huh.
And show my grandchildren someday.
Yeah.
Gosh, and who knows what they'll have then? I can't imagine what kind of you.
I wish we had a picture of the sleighs that we were using at the time.
Were they big? Or?
Beg your pardon?
Were they big sleighs or?
The sleigh,
Uh huh.
the drag sleighs. I mean, that they drove around with instead of cars. They never had any roads open in the wintertime.
That's hard to imagine. I suppose so. Then how'd the horses get along then? They just waded through it all, or?
Oh, they waded through it, yeah.
It's been big horses. How many horses did you have on the farm?
Well, we had 4 toward the last, but before that we had only 3. But we had different horses. So they had to have 2 teams to make it go real good, you know. I just can't think.
They must have been pretty well trained horses to.
Oh yeah, they were pretty good. Yeah,
How did you make hay? Did you have to make hay stacks and things, or you couldn't bale, could you?
when we had the old barn, we had to have haystacks. But after they built the barn, I helped to build the barn. And after that, they had plenty of room in the haymow for the hay. They hauled the hay into the barn, and then hauled it up with a hay fork.
Jeez. What an awful lot of work.
You know,
So how many hours a day did you work when you were working on the farm?
so I don't know. we worked 8 or 9 hours outside, and then we had to do the chores afterwards.
Oh, jeez.
So he didn't need much time for TV or for
Oh, there was no TV.
yeah. Or
There was no electricity, you know.
didn't matter if there was. When they first put electricity in.
They didn't. We didn't get that in till after Wallace got a hold of it.
I see.
And I don't remember when. Oh, gee.
When did you move out of the farm?
Well, they didn't have electricity when I was little, so it wasn't it sort of like after 1945 that they got electricity?
The what?
Electricity didn't come in till about 1945 at the farm, did it?
About that time, I think.
I remember
See,
kerosene lamps and all that stuff
Yeah,
out there.
yeah. It went through from Central Falls to Center City and Lindstrom. The power line was right by our place. But they would want too high a monthly rent to have an electricity there.
Oh,
And we couldn't afford it.
uh-huh.
And so that was out then.
Did the
Well-
rates come down later on?
No, but people could afford to.
Oh,
You had more higher wages, you know,
oh, uh-huh.
and then they got more pay for the products they sold.
Uh-huh. So why don't you turn it off, Jimmy, and see how it's turning out.
Okay.
Check it.
All right.
What are we supposed to say?
Well, why don't you tell me about Christmas on the farm, Daddy, when you were young? What was Christmas on the farm like?
Oh, we always had a Christmas Eve, a big party, a lot of food, lutefisk and Swedish sausage, and we had our fill with that. Then we gave each other a present, and sometimes we got more than we could take care of.
Is that right?
Well, we were always we were always happy at Christmas Eve. Then after Lucille and Mildred went down here to work, why then they had to come home before we could have the party afterwards. But I don't really remember the first one. It was a good time.
Uh-huh. And what other foods did you have besides lutefisk and Swedish sausage, and what else did you have?
We had cranberry sauce, and I don't remember what kind of
What was the rice pudding dish that you had?
rice pudding. Yeah, we had that too.
How was that fixed?
Oh, well, just milk and rice, and some spice, brown spice, whatever.
Cinnamon?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
Nutmeg.
Nutmeg, maybe? Uh-huh. What did you put on top of that?
not nutmeg,
Just cinnamon.
just cinnamon. That was put on top.
But there was something else that you put on top.
I don't remember that. Just
A sauce.
a sauce? Oh. Well, we had cranberry sauce.
How about creme?
Uh,
Creme? The
Yeah.
grape sauce?
yeah, I know what it's like. but we didn't always put it on the rice. We didn't have any, very seldom had any cake or anything, but my mother was a very good cook, though. She fixed a lot of things.
How about rosettes?
A rosette?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah, you used to have those. When I was growing up, you did.
Rosette?
Uh-huh. Where you put in the hot oil, you put the cookies in the hot oil on the iron, and then you take them out and they're a formed kind of thing.
Oh. I didn't know they were made like that.
Yep. You dip the batter in the dough, or you dip the iron in the batter when it's hot, and then you put it in the deep fryer or something.
Oh, that, oh yeah.
And sprinkle it with powdered sugar.
Yeah.
But this creme, now, your
Well,
sister... Creme, uh-huh.
Creme, that was grape juice, wasn't it?
Uh-huh. First it was wild grapes, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That you'd go out and pick in the...
Yeah, she would, and sometimes she got plenty of them, so she'd let them dry and then soak them and fix them into creme.
I see, uh-huh. And then she'd thicken them somehow and add a little sugar to it, is
Oh,
that...
sure, yeah.
Uh-huh. Did you make your own Swedish sausage?
Sometimes we did, after we'd had hogs butchered. We always had a hog butchered in the fall and one in the spring for our own meat, you know. And that was mostly what we ate, was salt pork.
Oh?
Yeah. And I didn't care for the salt pork so much, but I liked the gravy.
I see. So you just fix salt pork with the gravy on it?
Oh, she made gravy from it.
I
Like
see.
like it up, you know.
Oh. And that was, salting was a way to preserve it? Was that why you did it?
Yeah, had to preserve it with the salting.
Mm-hmm.
We packed it in a crock, masonry crock, and packed it away with that.
I see. Uh-huh. Well, it's interesting. Why don't we play it back and
That's-
see how it's coming out?
Uh,
Coming up.
they never had
Play it
any.
back on, see it for a minute.
All right.
They
Just
never
second.
butcher any.
Did your dad do his own binding or casing with that too, out of the intestines, or how did that work?
They saved the intestines and washed them out real good, and then they put the Swedish sausage inside of the intestines.
I see. Did they spice it quite a bit?
I think they were mostly salted.
Oh, uh-huh. So,
I don't think there was any other spice than salt.
so the diet was pretty high in salt back then, huh?
Pretty good, yeah.
Did you get a lot of vegetables in the wintertime?
Beg your pardon.
Did you get any vegetables in the winter?
Did we have any vegetables?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we had some that were saved, you know, by the potatoes always.
That's true, yeah. I
We
suppose you
had-
can things too.
Yeah, rutabaga, and, well, that was just about all, the rutabaga and potatoes and from the field, but then she had a garden,
Uh-huh.
and she made up some from, always had tomatoes and cabbage and, well, some others, but I can't think of them just right off.
I see.
Gonna turn it so it's on both of us?
All right.
I don't know if it matters.
Yeah.
So what other things did you get from the garden, or did you have to buy in town? Did you grow most of your own food?
Oh, I think so. Most of it.
What things did you buy in town?
Well, sugar and spices and flour. My dad used to take the wheat to the flour mill and have the flour grounded and get the flour, take the flour home in a sack.
Oh, was it whole wheat flour then, or white, or what? What
It
did you?
was pure white flour.
Oh,
It was wheat flour, but it wasn't whole wheat. It was ground fine, and the chaff was taken out of it, and it was real good flour.
but it was white.
Yeah, it was white.
I don't want to sneeze. That's you.
Then, of course, later on, we bought flour by the sack at grocery stores.
Uh-huh. Was there ever a time when they ground it differently so that it was a darker flour, so it was a whole wheat flour with all its vitamins left in it?
I think we ground that ourselves.
Oh, uh-huh.
We had a grinder for that.
And that was a coarser kind of flour?
Yeah.
That was probably better for you.
Well, it was, I suppose. It was. We didn't go for it so much. We just didn't think it was so good for us.
You just didn't know back then that it had all the vitamins and minerals right by the outside of it, of the kernel.
Yeah.
So, when you had Christmas, did Santa Claus come?
After the grandchildren, Art and Helen's children, after that we had a Santa Claus come.
Uh-huh.
But otherwise, we didn't really think about julegården.
That's
what?
Is that,
Julegården.
that's in Swedish, Santa Claus?
Yeah.
I see. Huh. So it was when the grandchildren got there, because I remember that when I was little, Santa Claus had come every year. And that was the big part of the evening, when Santa Claus would come and pass out the presents. And
Yeah.
Huh.
so,
Sometimes we had a man dressed in a lady's clothes, Santa Claus.
okay. So what's the most memorable Christmas that you can think of? Which Christmas did you find the most fun, or the nicest?
Oh, I think they're all nice. I just can't think of it any different.
You did a lot of skating when you were younger, didn't you? Where did you go skating? And tell us about that. What did you do
We
then?
went to Center City. I went to Center City every evening when it wasn't too cold. Then afterwards we shoveled a rink, but we didn't have any snowblowers or anything then, so we had to shovel them by hand.
Jeez.
And we really worked sometimes. But I was up there every evening.
Gee.
As long as it wasn't too cold when the ice was safe, you know.
Did you ever play hockey?
I didn't play much hockey. Just 3-4 times I played hockey, but I didn't go much for that.
I see.
There was always a bunch of girls that came down to the skating rink
That's why you skated all the time.
after we built the bonfire.
Uh-huh.
Then the whole town would come down.
Ah.
But we had to scrape up wood and build a fire before so that the
So everybody would come? That must have been fun.
it was pretty good.
Like a big party.
You did that in the dark, but as soon as you got the fire going, then you could see better.
Yeah. Well, we did it before dark. Before it got dark, you know. We got up to town after it was through with the chores. I beat it uptown. My dad and mother knew that I wasn't up to any mischief or anything, so they didn't question at all what I was doing.
And then you liked to go dancing too, didn't you? You were a
Oh.
good dancer.
No.
You weren't a good dancer, huh?
Yeah, I was a pretty good dancer.
What kind of dances did you dance?
Pardon?
What kind of dance did you dance?
Oh, two-step and waltz and foxtrot and
Wow, all the.
well, very seldom would we go, square dance.
Uh-huh.
Oh, once in a while.
Did you have live music, or how did that work?
I went to Coliseum
Uh-huh.
here. That was where Guy Lombardo was playing at that time.
Oh.
He played in a baseball game, St. Paul, and then he played at orchestra. He and 3 or 4 other partners of the baseball. He took part in.
Huh. He's a big
Huh?
name.
Beg your pardon?
He's a big name. Everybody's heard of him.
Guy Lombardo,
Yeah.
yeah.
Was that when he was just getting started, or was he pretty well known then?
Was he pretty well known?
Mhm.
Oh, I think he was pretty good in the music. He was a leader, and he was pretty good in the music. But then, after he got away from the Twin Cities, he got to be in, because he resided in Canada, I think. Toronto, I think it was.
I see. And he started out around here, or he just came here once in a while? Or?
Well, I don't really know where he came from. I'm not. I think he came from the Twin Cities, someplace.
I see. Now, your grandfather was a carpenter when he came over. That was his trade,
Yeah,
wasn't
he was a timberman, they called him
Oh.
in Sweden.
What does that mean?
Timber carpenter, timber. They made up the buildings of timber that was hewed out.
Oh, so out of big logs, they made sort of like log buildings.
Yeah.
How did that work? Tell about how the mechanical parts of that went together or worked.
Well, I'm not very much acquainted with that because I never did it, but they were laid together like that, see?
Uh-huh.
But then they were hewed, they were cut in the corner so that they got down tight. After the logs got down tight so that they could be real warm and nice on it. Then they padded them with sod, and the sod got so full of bed bugs
Oh boy.
that they had to get rid of those old buildings.
Oh, they had to get rid of the whole buildings, huh?
Oh, those old buildings. We hauled one from home down to behind the old barn for haymow afterwards.
Uh-huh. But those buildings were still there when you were little? On the farm?
Just that old barn, yeah, they were there when I was little. But I remember when they moved the old house from where the new house got to be afterwards, and down around to have a haymow of it. I remember that day.
Mm-hmm. I see. Now, where, first they had a sod hut, and then they lived in that for a while. Was that pretty well covered with earth all over it, so it was warm in the winter and cool in the summer?
They scraped up sod and covered the walls and the roof. And I don't suppose it was very much of a building, but
Was
they had
well insulated against the weather, though.
Yeah,
That was probably a smart thing to do at first.
yeah.
So did they build a building first and then cover it all up?
Well, I suppose I'm not very well acquainted with that stuff.
Uh-huh. And was it when they had that sod hut that the Indians came to visit, or when was that?
Yeah, they came then, yeah. My aunt told me about that, or told us about that.
What happened when they came?
Oh, they just looked for food.
Uh-huh.
They didn't want anything else.
So you'd always give them food, or your family would always give them food?
Well, I don't know what they did to them. I don't think they weren't, the Chippewa Indians weren't mean, you know. They wouldn't hurt anybody.
Oh.
But the Sioux, they were terrible.
So it was Chippewas who came to your place?
Yeah, that was Chippewa.
Oh, and you never had any Sioux Indians near you?
No, I don't think so.
Uh-huh.
That was before my time, long before my time, you know.
Uh-huh. But would they give them apple pies or something, or what would they?
Oh, they just wanted if they had some homemade butter and bread, that's all.
Oh, bread and butter.
That was great for them.
Uh-huh. I suppose that was the whole wheat or the rye bread too, way back then.
I suppose.
Uh-huh. Well, that'd be good. So then, your grandfather was a carpenter, and he used that skill around the farm to build a lot of buildings there too. And then, how did you decide to become a carpenter?
How did I decide?
Uh-huh.
Well, I worked for a carpenter. We built 2 barns one summer, and they were done July 15th, the 2 barns. Then I had promised my dad that I would stay home and help him with the farm work, you know. And so they wanted to hire me. The last one that we built for, he wanted to hire me to do some work for him. But I told him I couldn't because I was going to work for my dad to do the farm work. But then next winter, we hauled logs to the mill. We cut the logs in the woods right at home and hauled the logs to the mill. And then we hauled the lumber back from the mill. And I sorted out the lumber after we got it back and checked on all that. Then we built that barn, but I wasn't. I was just helping, you know. I wasn't really the carpenter, but after the year after that, my dad says, "Why don't you go out to some contractor he was talking about that, and I'll take you out there and see if he'll let you work." Well, I went out there. He hired me, and he wanted to know how much I wanted. Well, I was getting 25 cents an hour at the first year.
Uh-huh.
So I asked him for 35 cents an hour. That was the wages I got.
Jeez.
And we worked 10 hours a day.
Oh,
Oh, boy.
$3.50. All right.
But
Takes
that
me,
was a lot then.
takes
And
me
that
half hour
barn-
to-
That barn that we built then had been burnt down, and some bum had set a fire to that barn, and then they were robbing the bank at Schaefer.
This was a barn at your family home, or a different barn?
So that was a different barn.
Oh.
The year after my folks had built.
So they burnt the barn to get everybody out of town and put the barn out, and then they robbed the bank, and everybody was putting the fire
Yeah.
out.
Oh dear.
They set fire to the barn, see, so that the people would all go to the burning barn.
They
Wow.
did double damage then.
Did
That's
they ever
terrible.
catch them?
Huh?
Did they ever catch them?
Catch them?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
What would they have done if they would have caught them? Would they hung them, do you think? Or?
Well, they didn't have the facilities to get around people so much then, you know.
Uh-huh. Huh.
But that's the barn that I helped to build.
So first you helped to build the barn at your home place, and then you went out and started building other barns.
Well, first I went out and helped to build 2 barns before we built for at home.
Oh.
That was 1919, and then in 1920 we built the barn at home.
So you were 21 when you started out?
Yeah, in 1919 I was only 20 because my birthday wouldn't be till September, you see.
And then your father thought you did pretty well with that, huh?
Yeah, we built a shed over the pump house, over the pump, you know. And I guess I showed him how we could cut the rafters there. He thought it was pretty good.
So then you got some more training and experience in it. Then when did you go to school?
I went to high school in 1913, I think it was.
But I mean, you went on to trade school and to business school?
No, I just went on to business college.
Did you do that after those first barns or before?
No, before.
You got that training before you started building barns?
Yeah.
I see.
Well, I didn't like to sit by a bench, by a bench inside in an office. I didn't like to sit in an office.
You wanted to work with your hands?
Or something, more exercise.
Well, that's been good. All your life you've gotten exercise, haven't you?
I tried.
You used to walk to and from work, didn't you?
Yeah.
How many miles a day did you walk back then?
Well, that would have been 7 miles.
Round trip?
To Leinster and back.
Oh my gosh. But, I mean, when you were down here, did you walk then too, back
yeah,
then?
that's about 1.25 miles.
Well, that's good. That's what people should do. Do you think that's helped you live so long? All that exercise?
I think I'm so mean they don't want to take me to heaven.
Oh. But the exercise must have been pretty important, don't you think? And
that's the reason I did. I walk. Otherwise, you know, I drive and I get right off. And well, when I was building the house, then I drove. But otherwise, you would.
I can't talk this morning, you know that.
But everyone else was, right?
Everybody else was out there, and you know, it was a good fundraiser. We raised more than